Hey there! First of all, thank you for being here. Whether you clicked on this out of curiosity, concern, or just stumbled upon it, I appreciate you taking the time. Today, we're diving deep into something that's often misunderstood, but deeply real for many people: obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD. Let's talk about it in the way we talk to a close friend: kind, open, no judgment. Because this isn't about slapping a label on anyone or throwing around clinical terms to sound smart. It's about recognizing what's really going on in our minds and having the courage to be honest about it. So, if you've ever asked yourself things like, why can't I stop thinking about this one thing? Why do I feel like I have to do something a certain way or something bad will happen? Why doesn't anyone else seem bothered by the things that bother me so much? Then you're in the right place. Let's explore this together. And hey, feel free to pause, take breaks, or reflect as we go. This isn't a race. It's a journey. Let's start gently with a brief explanation. OCD is short for Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. It's a mental health condition characterized by intrusive thoughts, obsessions, and repetitive behaviors or mental acts, compulsions, done to ease the discomfort those thoughts bring. But it's more than a textbook definition. It's the exhausting, daily experience of feeling like your mind is stuck in a loop, one that you know doesn't make sense, yet feels impossible to stop. And no, it's not just about being extra neat or liking things clean. No, let's look at the common signs. But instead of breezing through them, we're going to pause and feel them. Because behind each sign is a real emotional experience. 1. Intrusive thoughts, obsessions. Imagine this. You're having a perfectly normal day when suddenly your brain tosses in a disturbing, unwanted thought. Maybe it's violent. Maybe it's inappropriate. Maybe it's simply weird. And the worst part? You can't stop thinking about it. You might ask yourself, why am I even thinking this? Does this thought mean something about me? That's the trap OCD sets. It doesn't just give you intrusive thoughts. It convinces you those thoughts mean something scary. Common types of obsessions include contamination fears, fear of germs, chemicals, illness. Aggressive thoughts, fear you'll harm someone, even if you never would. Sexual or religious obsessions, taboo thoughts that go against your values. Symmetry/ordering obsessions, feeling uneasy unless things are just right. These thoughts aren't just annoying. They can cause shame, guilt, and distress, especially because people with OCD often know the thoughts are irrational. But that doesn't make them any less powerful. 2. Compulsive behaviors, compulsions. To deal with the anxiety from those obsessions, many people perform repetitive behaviors or rituals, compulsions. For example, checking doors, locks, ovens, emails, etc. again and again. Washing/cleaning. Hands, clothes, surfaces, sometimes for hours. Mental rituals, praying, repeating phrases, counting, done silently in the mind. Arranging, making sure objects are perfectly aligned or in the right order. Here's the thing. These rituals are often done to prevent something bad from happening or to neutralize the anxiety. But the relief is usually short-lived. The obsession comes back. The ritual repeats. And the cycle continues. Can you relate to this cycle? Or maybe you've noticed someone else going through it. 3. Overwhelming doubt. OCD is sometimes called the doubting disorder because it creates a constant feeling of uncertainty. Did I turn off the stove? Did I say the wrong thing? Did I hurt someone by accident? It's exhausting to never feel sure enough. So people with OCD often check, recheck, and then recheck again. What's tricky is that this doesn't come from forgetfulness. It comes from an emotional distrust in one's own memory or intentions. 4. Fear of losing control. People with OCD often fear that if they don't follow through on their compulsions, something terrible will happen, or they'll lose control and act on one of their obsessions. It's not about wanting to harm someone. It's fearing you could, even if you never would. That fear is terrifying. And it leads to hypervigilance, self-monitoring, and isolation. 5. Emotional exhaustion. Living with OCD isn't just time-consuming. it's emotionally draining. Imagine spending your day trying to suppress intrusive thoughts while also performing rituals to make sure you feel safe or in control. Now add the shame that often comes with it, the worry that people won't understand, the fear of being judged. It's no wonder many people with OCD also struggle with anxiety, depression, or burnout. Here's something important. OCD doesn't always look like what you see in movies. Some people's compulsions are invisible. They happen in the mind, repeating prayers, neutralizing thoughts, reviewing memories. This is called pure O, primarily obsessional OCD, and it can be just as distressing as more visible forms. Sometimes, people go years without realizing what they're dealing with has a name. They think they're just overthinking, too sensitive, or crazy. You're not. And you're not alone. Let's walk through a day in the life of someone with OCD. This isn't a universal story, but it captures what many experience. You wake up and immediately remember that thought from yesterday. What if I hit someone with my car and didn't notice? The thought makes your chest tighten. So you replay the memory of your drive home. Again and again. You shower, but it takes 45 minutes. You have to wash in a certain order. If you mess it up, you start over. Before leaving the house, you check the door lock 6 times. You know it's locked, but your anxiety won't let you walk away. At work, you're distracted. You reread emails, worrying you made a mistake. You apologize for things you didn't do. Your brain's noise drowns out everything else. You come home, exhausted, but the rituals continue. And the whole time, you look fine. No one sees the struggle. Let's be honest. Everyone double-checks things sometimes. Everyone likes things neat. Everyone gets weird thoughts. So how do you know if it's OCD? Here's the difference. With OCD, the thoughts are intrusive and distressing. The behaviors are driven by anxiety, not pleasure. The rituals feel necessary, not optional. It interferes with your life. A quirky habit makes life more fun. OCD makes it harder to live. Still unsure? That's okay. Keep listening. There's no one cause, but here's what researchers think plays a role. Genetics. OCD tends to run in families. Brain structure and function. Differences in certain brain circuits. Trauma or stress. Some people notice symptoms after a big life change or trauma. Personality. People who are perfectionistic or overly responsible may be more vulnerable. None of these cause OCD on their own, but together, they might set the stage. Important note, OCD is not your fault. It's not because you're weak, broken, or too much. It's a condition. And conditions can be managed. OCD can affect how you relate to others. You might avoid intimacy due to intrusive thoughts. Seek constant reassurance from friends or partners. Isolate because you're ashamed of your rituals. And it can affect work, school, parenting, everything. But with understanding and support, it doesn't have to. If you see yourself in these signs, it's okay to reach out. In fact, it's brave. Therapies like CBT, especially exposure and response prevention, or ERP, have helped many people manage OCD. Medication can also help. Talk to a licensed therapist, a psychiatrist, a doctor. Anyone who can guide you. And be kind to yourself. Healing isn't linear, and it's not about fixing you. It's about learning to live with your mind in a way that feels less painful and more free. If you've made it this far, thank you. I hope you feel seen. I hope this gave language to something you felt but couldn't explain. But remember, this conversation, no matter how thoughtful, isn't a diagnosis. It's not a replacement for professional care. If you think you might have OCD, please reach out to a mental health professional. They can give you the clarity and support you deserve. Take care of yourself, okay? You're doing better than you think. You're not broken. You're not alone. And your mind, however tangled it may feel, is worthy of love and understanding. Until next time.